Welcome in, everyone. This is More in the Know podcast. I'm your host, Josh Morin. Today is a solo episode. I have been rocking out these guest episodes on this podcast, and it's been exceptional. So thank you so much to all of the guests that have been on this podcast this past month. I really do appreciate everyone. And if you haven't seen those episodes and or haven't listened to those episodes on Spotify, please do so now. I had the privilege of speaking with my sister, Chris Nishoff, my business partner in Saunacle Customs, a longtime friend, my brother-in-law, Blake Redman, my father. I've had a lot of great people that are in my life and in my circle that I'd love to highlight their stories. So if you have yet to listen to those podcasts, please check them out either on this YouTube page and or on Spotify. Today's podcast is a solo mission, short and sweet, and this is for all the men. But this message is really congruent with women as well. I just proposed to the love of my life, the greatest journey of my life, Jordan, and I'm looking forward to making her my wife, as well as she's going to be the mother of my children, which I'm ecstatic about, super excited. Many questions that I've had with men, relatively recent, is how do you know if she's the one? And the question really is simply answered, is if you are questioning if she's the one or not, she's not the one. That's the easiest way to put it. When you know, and I know that I know that I know, and when you know that you know that you know, there's no questioning. You don't have to question or ponder if she's the one. She's going to show with her actions. She's going to show with her unconditional love, and it's a being state that is absolutely felt. So when you're looking for the right partner to mate and date and to live the rest of your life with, you have the best radar. I mean, you understand if she's the one because your body will feel it before you want to logically want to seduce yourself into believing that they are or they aren't, or start to justify, explain, validate the situation as how you need a little bit longer, or maybe that these actions weren't congruent, and maybe that you just didn't give her the right shot, or she didn't give you the right chance, or the situation just wasn't right. The fact of the matter is you can't say the wrong thing to the right people. And when it came to Jordan, I knew that I knew when I had my first date with her. When I sat down and ate our first meal together, and we had a coffee date. It was a little coffee date, and I had a sandwich. I just knew. I knew. And when you know that you know that you know, and I'm going to say that 100 times in this podcast because it's a knowing state. And when you step out of questioning yourself, and when you step out of validating and explaining these situations with these men and women that aren't congruent with the partner that you seek to have in your life, then you'll stop wasting your time. I see that so often right now, is people wasting their time dating people that don't give a shit about them. Why? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your energy? Why are you wasting your resources? If they're not the one, why are you wasting it? Well, the fact of the matter is, the reality of the situation is that typically these people are codependent. I'm a recovering codependent as well. So you're keeping people in this space and place to fill the voids, to fill the time, so then you don't have to think about being lonely and or the shadow work, the trauma bonds you've held on to whilst being alone and not in a relationship when you're single. If that's you, now is absolutely the time to let go of any relationship that you're in, step into a place of autonomy and sovereignty, and step into a position of recovery, healing, growth, beginning to understand the trauma bonds you've held on to, these cycles that have created generational patterns in your life and in your family. When you start to look at the history of your family, begin to start to see the patterns of what's going on. Addicts, codependencies, the women that would date the men that became their husbands, that became your grandpas, your grandmas, the fathers in your life. I mean, a lot of them are similar. I mean, is there a pattern to these relationships? I know in my family there's an absolute pattern to these relationships, and I'm here to break the cycle. I'm not here to say that they're right or wrong. I don't live in that polarization anymore. I see the truth of the reality of it, and I just know personally for myself, I don't want to live that life. So I became the person that I wanted to attract into my life, and that woman came in the form of my beautiful fiance and the future mother of my child, Jordan, and the future mother of my children. I mean, what a beautiful opportunity it is to be able to build a life with your best friend. So if you're sitting there and you're in the dating pool right now and you're seeking answers of if this person's the one or not the one, guess what? You will know. Stop questioning yourself. Stop questioning your gut's intuition. Stop questioning the second brain. The second brain is the stomach, because it relays. That's why they call it your gut instinct. There's a messenger that relays from the stomach into the brain. If you listen to it, it'll will tell you. Your gut instincts will absolutely tell you if these people, places, and situations are in alignment with the reality that you seek to create. And then you have to decipher how much time that you want to put into this, how much effort you want to put into this to find out if your gut instincts is true or not. I just trust my gut, and then from there, I act accordingly. But when you're in a place of distrusting, which is a place of doubt is a place of unknowing. And when you're in a state of unknowing, then you're going to continually attract men and women who disappoint you to fulfill your low levels of esteem. You're going to attract these situations of broken souls from broken homes. And what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself broken every single time. And you're going to be like, why do I always attract these people? Well, it's unconscious. And when you start to begin to understand the unconscious that runs your life, you start to see the patterns that have created the effect. And when you can see these different patterns, you can begin to let go of the events that shape feelings. Events that shape feelings get stored, and the suppressed and repressed feelings lead to your low levels of esteem. This then shows up in the dating pool all the time. I see it all the time in relationships. You become a codependent. You become addicted to chaos and conflict and confrontation. You start to date men that you have to date men who you have to save. You date women that are broken, and so you're trying to mend them back up. I'm not here to mend anybody. We all have our shadow work, and I'm committed to the process one day at a time, just as my co-partner Jordan is. I mean, we're partners in this journey of life. Our paths have crossed and parallel with one another to be able to live this beautiful, bountiful, and conscious living lifestyle that I seek to create. The vision that I had in my life for the life that I seek to create with the children that I have and will have in the future. When I say that I have them already, because God will provide what is required for me. God will provide what is destined for me. I've let go of the outcome of a situation that I can't control, and I put that into God's hands. That's called faith, and I act on my faith and exercise my faith daily as it begins to strengthen. And you can absolutely do this too if you're a man out there and you're wondering why you haven't found the woman of your dreams yet. Well, become the man deserving enough to find the woman of your dreams. When you become the man deserving enough to find the woman of your dreams, guess what? She will magically show up. When you are committed, I mean absolutely committed, when you get raw and honest with yourself, your actions and your daily disciplines, then you'll start to see, man, maybe my morals and maybe my actions don't line up for me to truly attract the woman deserving enough to be in my life, to create this monogamous, heartful, committed relationship with. That's a decision that I had to make. I made that decision over a year ago, way longer than a year ago. I realized that I wasn't being fully committed to myself, and I wasn't being fully committed to being the man deserving of a woman that I required in my life to do the things that I wanted. And that takes a moment of humility. And if you can step into that humility, you'll start to see, man, you truly do have the power. So stop believing that you're destined to continually have these broke men and women, these crazy men and these crazy women in your life. It's not required, and you do not have to accept it as your reality. Step into consciousness. Step into acceptance. Bridge the gap between your lower self of pride, fear, guilt, rejection, anger, and these low levels of self-esteem. Bridge that gap with courage. Step into courage and honesty, and be rigorously honesty about your situation, your life, and the reality that you seek to create. Then make the changes daily, the simple daily disciplines required for you to live the good life. The TGL, baby. If you want to live the good life, then you have to do it one day at a time. And if you're sick and tired of attracting these broken souls from broken homes, my suggestion, number 1 is celibacy. Number 2, stop dating. Stop dating right now and begin to focus on yourself, because what happens is when you start to heal and then you throw yourself into the dating pool, guess what? You start to recreate the same things, because unconsciously, on a very subconscious level, you are still an addict. You're still a codependent. You're still addicted to these feelings. I bet I understood these situations. It wasn't until I got celibate during my sobriety that I actually really figured out what it is that led me to continually attract these relationships that set me up to be and stay in disappointment. If that's you, if you're always disappointed with the outcomes of your relationships, this message is absolutely for you. If you seek a dating coach, if you seek a life coach, I am I am offering a very unique marketing proposition for people who are committed to changing their quality of life, the direction of their dating relationships, to ultimately get in a monogamous relationship, to build a family, and to restore the family structure. If that's you, I'm offering a unique marketing proposition for two serious people, not curious, two serious people that want to take advantage of my coaching. With that being said, that's today's podcast. If you are somebody out there that is in the dating pool, that is wanting to mate and date, wanting to marry and be in a committed relationship with somebody, it is now time to better understand why you do what you do. Break the chains, break the cycles, step into autonomy, sovereignty, and ultimately do your best to be your best one day at a time. That concludes today's podcast. You can find more information about my coaching down below, the link down below at surrender.com. Looking forward to connecting more. Love you all.